I would now like to introduce to you the president of our Alumni Association. He earned his bachelor's degree in 1980 and master's degree in 1983, both in civil engineering from the University of Toledo. He's currently the president of Demetrica Jacobs Engineers here in town. Please welcome Mr. Dave Demetrica.
Good evening and welcome to campus. It's so good to see all of you here tonight to help us celebrate the amazing accomplishments of our outstanding honorees. I also want to thank you for your support of our university and our Alumni Association. Many of you are members of the association, and it's that commitment to us that allows us to continue planning special gatherings like this. Events like the one we held at Notre Dame and welcomed 383 alumni and fans to a pregame party, and many more events and engagements designed to keep Rocket Nation connected to each other. Most importantly, membership allows us to continue awarding in excess of $68,000 each year in scholarships to current UToledo students. Your membership matters to us, and it matters to our students. I look forward to seeing everyone before the game tomorrow at the parade and the Kester Alumni Pavilion. Thank you for being here with us tonight, and please enjoy the evening.
They were perfect for 3 consecutive seasons. Not one blemish on their record from 1969 to 1971. Average margin of victory, 23 points. 35-0. The streak. One of the most amazing stories in college football. Right here, our team, our Rockets.
Nobody wants to play them because when you study them, you know that they are one of the toughest teams in the country.
Gentlemen, if you could please begin making your way to the front of the stage. During the 2019 Homecoming Gala, we honored those that played on the 1969 team. Tonight, and throughout this weekend, we honor those that played on the 1970 and 1971 teams. As I call your names, yes. EDO. As I call your names, if you could please come up on stage. Number 15, quarterback, Mr. Bruce Arthur. Number 52, center, Mr. Lynn Ashleman. Number 88, flanker and offensive end, Mr. Jeff Calabrese. Number 38, linebacker, Mr. Chip Karstensen. Number 79, defensive end, Mr. Ron Davis. Number 38, defensive end and defensive tackle, Mr. Steve Donahue. Number 43, tailback, Mr. John Downey. Number 27, strong safety, Mr. Tom Duncan. Number 16, quarterback, Mr. Chuck Ely. Number 70, offensive tackle, Mr. Jim Goodman. Number 44, tailback, Mr. Anthony Harris. Number 86, defensive end, Mr. Ron Roberts. Number 24, punter, Mr. Jeff Seek. Athletic trainer, Mark Schreiner. And to say a few words on behalf of the team, number 82, tight end, Mr. Alfred Baker.
Thank you, and good evening. It's certainly an honor and a privilege to speak on behalf of the 1970 and 71 football teams. It's amazing how quickly 50 years go by.
Really?
But some memories never fade. In 1970 and 1971, also 1969, our defense led the entire country in total defense as the top team and was recognized as such. That team that defense was filled with a lot of different players, but I certainly want to point out our consensus All-American and College Football Hall of Famer, the great Mel Long, who's not with us tonight. We had, and still have, the winningest quarterback in college football history, Mr. Chuck Ely. We had great coaches in Coach Frank Lauterbur and Coach Jack Murphy. But most importantly, we had each other. We believed in each other, and that was all we needed to make it 35-0 and never to have defeat. At this time, I'd also like to recognize our team captains. Our 1970 captains, Tony Harris, and Tom Duncan. And our 1971 captains, Chuck Ely and Gary Hinkson and Mel Long are not with us tonight, but they were great captains as well. Finally, I'd just like to take a moment to recognize our teammates who are no longer with us. Hall of Famers, John Saunders, John Nesgoda, Steve Schnittke, Bob Rose, Joe Swartz, and along with teammates Rich Eberlin, Leon Campbell, Glenn Smith, Steve Bowman, Willie Duke, Ken Wilson, and Howard Purnell, all great teammates. So in conclusion, I'd just like to thank all of you for being here tonight and recognizing our 1970 and 71 teams. And we look forward to a victory tomorrow. Thank you.
It's hard not to feel proud after that. Gentlemen, thank you so much for being here. And now for our keynote speaker. He is former interim president and executive vice president for health affairs at the University of Louisville. Prior to joining UToledo, he served as a senior client partner representing healthcare services and higher education at Korn Ferry, a global organizational consulting firm. He has more than 25 years of experience with academic medical center and university operations, governance, clinical care, teaching, and the support of research. In addition to an accomplished career as an academic interventional neuroradiologist, he served 18 years as chair of the Department of Radiology at the University of Louisville School of Medicine and held the positions of Vice Dean for Clinical Affairs and Chairman of the Board at University Medical Center in Louisville. He was the founding board chair and later CEO of University of Louisville Physicians. He served as interim president of University of Louisville 2017 to 18 and also spent 4 years as its executive vice president for health affairs. During his time in leadership at the University of Louisville, he oversaw the design and implementation of 2 academic affiliations, including an 8-year, $33 million per year pediatric affiliation with Norton Healthcare and a $23 million per year adult affiliation agreement with Kentucky One Health. He also led the planning and construction of the $80 million pediatrics medical office building, management transition, and subsequent board leadership of the University of Louisville Hospital, complete restructuring and implementation of the Health Sciences Center budget, and creation of 2 consecutive balanced budgets in the context of flat tuition with no program closures, and reorganization of the athletics department. A graduate of the College of Worcester and Case Western Reserve University School of Medicine, he completed a residency in radiology at the Cleveland Clinic Foundation and a fellowship in neuroradiology at the Mayo Clinic Foundation. He was named the 18th president of the University of Toledo during a special board of trustees meeting on March 2nd, 2021, after serving as interim president since July 6th of 2020. Many of us had the pleasure of witnessing his investiture this morning in Nitschke Hall. Please join me in welcoming the president of the University of Toledo, Dr. Gregory Postal.
Good evening. Billy, thank you so very much for those kind words of introduction. I really appreciate it. Sally and I are just delighted to be with you this evening to enjoy this terrific event. We've had quite a week, and it isn't over. So we began earlier this week with the Diamante Awards. Some of you may know this was the 32nd year where we had an opportunity to honor students of Hispanic Latino heritage with scholarships and awards, a great tradition and a sign of the incredibly diverse and inclusive community that the University of Toledo represents. So that was a great way to kick off the week. This year has been a little different, so in addition to Homecoming, we are celebrating Rocket Week. So I'm sure many of you remember that Rocket Week is a great way that the University of Toledo joins forces with the City of Toledo and celebrates many activities, and we're fortunate to enjoy a wonderful relationship with Mayor Wade Kapsakavich and his team. He was out for our pep rally earlier in the week on Centennial Mall when we had an opportunity to welcome our teams and wish them good luck in competition this week, and just a nice reminder of this important tie between the university and the city. Of course, we've got a parade tomorrow morning. It's going to be bright and sunny. We have a football game, I hear, against Illinois, Northern Illinois University Huskies, so we're excited about that at 12 o'clock. And then, of course, we have this event tonight, which is really a highlight and a capstone for our week, an opportunity to celebrate you, our alumni. Now, before I go further, I really want to have an opportunity to say a couple words about Billy Pierce. Billy is our Associate Vice President for Alumni Affairs. We are very fortunate that he is in this role. He does an amazing job. He's only been doing it for 2.5 years, and because last year was so strange, this is the first year he actually had an opportunity to plan a gala. I think he did a pretty good job. Let's hear it for him, yeah, right? I told him this is like planning a wedding, 320 people, a sit-down dinner and music and everything. Very nicely done. But beyond that, Billy does a great job every day. So last year, we were so constrained by the coronavirus. And normally, Alumni Affairs will have, I think he tells me, 180 or more events in the course of a year, basically one every other day. And last year, all of that was flipped upside down, and literally overnight, we had to convert to virtual format and WebExes for a lot of our events that normally would have been face-to-face. The numbers didn't show it. We had more participation in a lot of our activities than we did in normal years. Donations were solid. Things went just fine, and it's because of the leadership of Billy and others who were able to really be agile and make changes sort of on the fly as the coronavirus came at us with new stories day by day. So my hat's off to you for the work you did with our alumni last year, Billy. The past year really was a year like no other, and I'm happy for all of you as alumni that you did not have to live as students through a pandemic, because it was a very, very tough year. Despite that, we did well, but it was a challenge for all of us. And what a pleasure to be able to get together and have an event like this. Things seem like they're almost back to normal. We may be wearing masks, but we're together. We're enjoying fellowship. I'm meeting people that I've never had the opportunity to meet before. And I can't tell you how pleased I am that things are getting back on track. So an event like this is really an opportunity to do three things. We spend a little bit of time celebrating the past, we spend some time enjoying the present, and then we also think about a very ambitious future, right? So how fitting for the part about the past that we had the opportunity to welcome back the storied football team with the 35-0 record. I'm positively convinced that the years are wrong. Did you see that good-looking group of men up here? They looked like they were in their 50s, right? I mean, there's no way that was 50 years ago. I know that's what the dates say, but what a legacy, what a great story about teamwork, what a great memory, what a great way to celebrate the past. And we're just delighted that so many of you were able to be with us tonight to really help make this special. Thank you for coming back, and welcome home, Rockets. We're proud of you still. So as we think about the present, we have so many opportunities to celebrate what we as Rockets are doing every day to make sure that the value of your degree continues to increase. It's our objective to make sure that you're proud of the things that we do, because that is good for you and it's good for us. And so just a couple of points of pride that I want to mention from this past year, a very tough year. We graduated in the spring alone 4,640 individuals who crossed the stage and became new graduates. That is a record for the past 23 years. We haven't had a number like that. And I might say part of the reason that number was so high is because our graduation rate has been going up. See, so one of the things that we spend a lot of time thinking about is not just recruiting students to the University of Toledo, but making sure that those students we recruit are successful and complete their degrees. Because there's nothing more tragic than an individual who comes and is for some reason or other not able to finish. So we are very, very much focused on making sure that every student is successful. And that number has been going up, and that's why we had such a large group cross the stage at the Glass Bowl back in May of this year. So that was a great day for the university. I will mention also in the area of research, and Frank Calzanetti, our talented Vice President for Research, is with us tonight. We had a banner year for research, again, during a really tough year, up 18%, $65 million in extramural awards, of which 80% were federal. Incredible, considering how difficult it was to do everything in this past year. But we didn't lose sight of core missions. We had issues to deal with that were difficult and unexpected, but we didn't lose sight of core missions. And the growth in research is a great example of that, of how that plays out. Also, if you've been on campus much lately, you'll notice that we're doing things to make your alma mater look better, right? So Centennial Mall, some of you probably remember when that was a parking lot. So there was a parking lot, believe it or not, behind University Hall. I'm sure the students like being able to park close to their lecture halls. We hear about that all the time, but it was ugly, and what a terrible thing to have right in the middle of campus. So that was replaced with this beautiful park-like Centennial Mall. Well, the years had started to show, and the concrete was cracked, and it needed a little love, so we got $1 million from the state, and I think you've probably seen that it looks just like the day it was put in. It's a beautiful place, and how nice every day I come out and I get some lunch. I walk across the Centennial Mall to the Student Union to get lunch, and there are just tons of students outside. There's music almost every day at noon. Students are playing games, they're studying, they're sitting by the fountain. I don't know, there's something about it that just really makes you excited about being at the University of Toledo, and that area is, of course, a showcase for our campus. So these are just a few examples of the kinds of things that we do, because as alums, you want to be proud of your alma mater, and we're going to make sure that we continue to do one thing after another so that that is the case. Now, as we look ahead, okay, so go past the present and let's think about the ambitious future. So this morning I was honored to be invested as the 18th president of the University of Toledo, and it's just an incredible honor. I have to say, I feel home. I just thank you. You know, this is homecoming, but I really feel like I have come home. I was born and raised in Ohio. I lived here until I was almost 30 years old. And so this was home for me for a very, very long time. And the first year I was here, while I was enjoying my job and getting to know the city, my family, Sally, my boys, my mother-in-law, our little golden doodle Tesla, they were still down in Louisville. And so I was going back and forth up and down I-75 a couple times a month to see them. And now they have moved here, and it really feels like we're home. And so what a nice feeling that is. I really understand the meaning of the word homecoming. So at the investiture this morning, one of the things I did is I asked everyone to reaffirm their commitment to being a rocket and to helping us reimagine the University of Toledo as it can be. What is it that we can be? What is our very, very best that we can be down the road? And tonight I'm asking all of you to help with that. You are all grads of this great institution. Some of you, you look at the dates, you've graduated 2 or 3 times. You've had undergraduate degrees here and master's degrees, maybe a professional degree. So you're passionate about this place, and we need your help very, very significantly. Alumni ask me all the time, what can I do to help? And I have lots of answers. So we need to grow our enrollment. You can help us in major ways growing the enrollment of this university. We are going to share with you ideas this year about how some of our regional alumni groups in other cities can be converted to recruiting engines to help us bring students from other parts of the country to join our class of students here at the University of Toledo. We did this when I was at the University of Louisville. It worked very, very well. We need to do it here. So we're starting to put recruiters, satellite recruiters, if you will, in places like Chicago, Pittsburgh, Washington, D.C., Cleveland, Columbus, Cincinnati. There will be others joining the list. And we'll want our alumni chapters in those cities to link with those student recruitment efforts. So there's a tremendous opportunity here for our alumni in these areas to leverage relationships they have to help us spread the word about what an incredible value and what incredible quality we have to offer in our many programs here at UToledo. For our current students, there are so many ways you can help us. Many of you are already involved in programs with mentoring students. Fantastic. Some of you are involved in businesses where you're able to offer co-ops to students in areas such as engineering or business where we have co-ops. Those are incredible opportunities. We're going to find more ways for you to help make sure that our students stay enrolled and graduate. We want every student to cross the graduation stage and have a bright future when they finish at the University of Toledo. And for the future, next year is quite a year, 150 years, our sesquicentennial celebration. And so to prepare for that, we are in the midst of recruiting a new vice president for advancement who's going to help us develop all types of opportunities to raise money, to name colleges and schools, to name programs, to name professorships, so many ways that we can ensure a solid financial foundation for the University of Toledo. And what better year to do it than during an anniversary celebration. So for both our students who are still with us, for students we are looking for students way in the future, there are ways that our alumni base can energize and work with us to make these things become a reality. Our priorities at the University of Toledo, I will tell you, are not going to change. All that's going to change is the strategies and the ways that we go about reaching those priorities. And what I want to say to you tonight is that we are deeply appreciative of our alumni. We're honored by your presence tonight, and we ask that you continue to use your knowledge, passion, and skills to continue building a solid foundation for our future rockets. Thank you so much for the invitation and for being here this evening.
Thank you, Dr. Postal. Mrs. Postal, thank you as well. And now, to begin recognizing the distinguished alumni that we are here to honor tonight. For 100 years, the University of Toledo Alumni Association has been the link that strengthens the bond between graduates and their beloved alma mater. It has also served to connect individuals who carry UToledo pride near to their hearts. No matter how many years it's been since they earned their degree in the past, and no matter where they call home in the present, members of the University of Toledo Alumni Association work together to make an investment in the future through student scholarships and by sharing the inspiring stories of what graduates have achieved as a way to stir the drive and ignite the passions of the next generation of Toledo Rockets. Tonight, you'll meet a special group of people. Aside from all graduating from the University of Toledo, they share some common or perhaps uncommon traits. Each of them has excelled in their chosen field. They have all been engaged in their communities, both large and small. Every person honored tonight has also demonstrated unique generosity of their time, skills, and knowledge, and all support groups and organizations that work to bring about positive change.
Well, attending the University of Toledo for me was really a no-brainer.
I can remember as a child going to see performances in Dorman Theater, going to football games, going to basketball games.
My father took me to football games starting when I was about 9 years old.
And I can remember going to the alumni hot dog tent at homecoming time walking down the hill and seeing that big tent there with the football stadium in the background.
And he took me to all the games during the 35-0 series in 1969-71. Took me to most of all the basketball games during the great season of 66-67 that I remember.
My grandfather was an early graduate, my grandmother an early graduate, my father, my uncle.
I was highly influenced by the pharmacist who ran the neighborhood drugstore in the town that I grew up.
So there was a lot of family that went through the University of Toledo, and it was always just present.
He was a 1950s grad at Toledo, and he highly encouraged me to come and check out the campus and see the program.
I was taking an interpersonal communications course, and the professor pulled me aside at one point and said, you know, you really have a knack for this. I can see that you're enjoying it. You know, have you thought about pursuing something along communications? And I told her no, I hadn't, but I was in fact enjoying it.
My experience at Toledo was fantastic. It was the most formative time of my life. And the honors program allowed me to expand from just my science studies to studies of art, music, architecture. It really set me up for the rest of my life.
Back then, as it is now, the University of Toledo was a fantastic place to get an education.
I eventually did start to look into the College of Communications and ended up pursuing public relations, which was a specialty at the time.
The College of Pharmacy is a top-notch program. It was then, and it still is, very much a program where they prepared me for a career in pharmacy.
There was just something about the way it looked. There was this big open field at that time, no longer like that. Big open field, gigantic building.
I had opportunity to come to the University of Toledo on a visit, and I fell in love with the campus and the people and the students.
Just walking into there was just awe-inspiring, and just the entire feel of the process of going there for the interview and the people that I met, it just was something that felt very, very right to me.
And I knew I wanted to be here and began my PhD program in 2002.
I was very young when I went to medical school. I had graduated college when I was 18, and I did a couple years of grad school so that I was a ripe 20, I guess, by the time I started medical school.
Well, first and foremost, I didn't want to leave the state of Ohio.
First thing I remember is I had my wisdom teeth removed about a couple of days before starting medical school. So I walked in looking like a chipmunk. I had big purple cheeks, and I thought, this is fabulous. I'm doing good here.
Going to another state to start all over appeared to me largely unwarranted.
What stood out the most were the people. Everywhere I went, people were asking me, who are you, where are you from? Let me show you this. They were excited to show me the new different things that were happening on campus. And it was just a lot of vibrant love and compassion, and that what made me choose this University of Toledo.
And I opted for University of Toledo. I read a little bit about University of Toledo Law School and University of Toledo.
Actually, I'm a hometown boy, just grew up on the other side of Bancroft. And when I was growing up, very familiar with the University of Toledo.
There was a sign above the door. It said, "Enter to learn, go forth to serve." And it just hit me so hard that that's exactly what I was there for. That's what I was going to do. I think that's probably one of the clearest inspirations or memories that I'd have of the university, of going in through those doors every single day with that in mind.
I had a few hiccups going along in high school, and UT being open enrollment was really helpful in a situation like mine.
It was the best choice for me and my family. My mother was a working mom and couldn't afford to help me with college.
I remember the gentleman who was, I think he was a teacher there, or assistant lecturer, or assistant professor. He was conducting us through the orientation program. And then he said, well, you guys will have to work very hard. And well, if we get a C, that's C okay. And I said, oh, I'm not going to ever get a C. Oh, I'm sure I'm going to be getting A's. And he laughed.
One of the things that I learned at the University of Toledo was really an opportunity to become fully engaged, and that really helps me.
He knew the difficulty and the challenge of studying law, where I took it for granted, so to say. So, and of course, my experience proved him very right, because I was actually struggling to get C in some subjects.
Visited, liked the professors and so on, so I thought this was the place.
The University of Toledo was a great opportunity for me to live at home and to commute to school every day, like many people do at the University of Toledo.
I actually commuted from just outside of Detroit, a suburb of Detroit.
It was just kind of a natural fit for me, close to home. I had friends that were attending, but I kind of took the non-traditional route, I guess. I started right after high school. And then worked full-time and had my son, and so I stopped and went to work full-time at a market research company.
What I really liked, I felt like the professors at the time gave me a good base to actually go out and operate in a company atmosphere.
I really enjoyed my time at the university. I was there for almost 5 years, a little longer than the normal average, and got involved in a lot of the activities once I got into all the details of the engineering college and civil engineering.
I returned to finish my undergrad probably about, I'd say 7 or 8 years later, and then came back for a master's degree. And
I felt that like they gave me the skills, the expertise, and the knowledge to analyze problems and move forward. That's what I got out of the University of Toledo, and I thought it was so important.
We worked on the concrete canoe, which was really exciting.
The professors that I had were amazing. They were great mentors. They opened my eyes to opportunities that I never would have explored otherwise.
One of the other things that we did in those series was made concrete frisbees. So I still actually have my concrete frisbee that I made.
I had an amazing experience, and it's been that's made me want to come back to the university and give back in other ways and be involved even more because of my experience was so good.
The university had a huge role in my success, really, when I think back on where I've come from and what I've been able to do. I learned so much at the university.
I've always loved my hometown university growing up in the area.
It's really amazing how pieces and parts of what I learned at the university really helped forge who I've become.
My parents revealed to me that I would not be getting anything more from them than tuition monies.
Well, it was very convenient for my husband and I both to be able to be at the university.
Room and board I would have to borrow money for, and I just guess I had some financial sense back then as well, because I didn't think it made sense to borrow money for room and board and foods.
As well as it had the majors that we both were wanting to pursue at the same time.
I turned my sights to Toledo, and they had a great program in law and criminal justice, which was where my interest ran at the time, and the rest is history. One
of the great experiences I had that led to many successes in my career was my time in the Center for Aging.
One thing I remember is, this is kind of silly, but I remember the coffee machines. It was just awful coffee, and it would pour out of the bottom of this thing. You'd grab this little cup, it was half a Dixie cup, you know. My buddy and I hit those every morning. I worked the late shift at UPS. So I would come to school at about maybe 8 in the morning after getting off the midnight or the second midnight shift there in Maumee. And I would sit up in that parking lot at Saevig Arena, Centennial Hall at the time, and he would come by and knock on my car window to wake me up for my first class.
Anyone that's thinking, can they do it while they work and go to school, I'm here to testify that yes, you can. I always worked full-time and went to school full-time. So I say, you can do it, I did it.
There's not a whole lot to success except getting up every morning and just doing it. And I felt that I learned a lot of those hard work ethic things, not just from my parents and family, but the university taught me a lot of things.
The reason I attended University of Toledo is I had an opportunity of meeting with Dr. Fry, who was one of the best scientists or chemists that I knew.
I'm sure my pathway would have been very different because I had opportunities at the University of Toledo, I'm not sure that I would have afforded to me at another university.
My time was so exciting because I just happened to have stumbled, if you want to use the word, on a reaction that people have tried for years and were not successful. And once I hit that reaction to be going, everything seems to have worked very well.
A kid who was a couple or 3 years older than me, was a senior when I was a freshman in high school, Steve Huffman, was recruited to play football at the University of Toledo. And so consequently, they sent a poster of him that got hung in the football weight room, locker room. And so I saw that.
I remember that Dr. Fry came into my lab one day because I enjoyed doing reaction. Dr. Fry said, "Eve, you're going to graduate in August." No, I'm not ready. By then I'd published about 10 papers. But Dr. Fry felt that I was ready to go and tackle the world.
I got into all the schools that I wanted to get into, but I was qualified as a presidential scholar applicant, and so went through the presidential scholarship interview process. Got to know about the honors program, got to meet Coach Simrel, got to meet Steve Goldman, doing genetics research, and so I made the decision to become a Rocket.
Why I attended University of Toledo was that I was in the Air National Guard, the 180th Fighter Wing, and I was an aspiring engineer.
I also remember asking him, so Dr. Fry, people would think having a PhD, you know everything. He said, no, Eve, you've always know where to find the answer. You can always tell them you don't have the answer and you go find it.
And I kept hearing so much amazing things about the University of Toledo's engineering program that I had to sign up.
I had never really lived in the city, and so for me, Toledo being an urban campus, having access to the Toledo Museum of Art and the orchestra and the symphony and all that kind of good stuff, all of that was new for me.
Being surrounded by mentors that really cared about my success, but above all, allow me to make my own mistakes. While I know there's a short rope that I can quickly go to, in my case, Dr. Fry or Dr. Garner. Those are, to me, what made my time at Toledo and what has made me successful today.
All my extra time went directly to the Launchpad Incubator. It's an amazing program that has lots of resources for aspiring entrepreneurs, and I dove headfirst into it.
Because of football, took a ton of classes in the evening with non-traditional students. So for me, it was really kind of a fascinating experience. It was a huge opportunity to grow and mature. And then I got very involved in campus.
I had a second chance at the University of Toledo. People may not know that. I almost flunked out of graduate school at another institution. But they gave me a second chance. And that second chance is who I am today. Because that second chance, getting the right mentor, being surrounded by the right faculty member, really is almost like a night and day individual. And one thing I want students, alumni to know is that Toledo is there for you if and when you rise up to an expectation, because we all have to do that. Mediocrity is not an option. And Dr. Fry, Dr. Gaynor, and some other faculties rallied around me to provide me the support. And that second chance, today, I am grateful.
Thanks to the Launchpad Incubator, I was able to start the company GripMat. I've always felt like GripMat is like me doing business with my training wheels. So I'm excited to one day, start more projects, more companies, and that are going to make much more of a global impact.
I don't think I would have had the groundedness and the diversity of experience and training and cultural aptitudes that I developed at the University of Toledo.
I thought the University of Toledo gave me huge opportunities that I don't know if I would have had them at other places. I don't know if going away to a big university would have been right for me. I don't know if going to a smaller university would have been right for me. The University of Toledo turned out to be exactly right for me.
My company's called Abstract Reality Ventures, and so it's really what I do is I help people build their dreams. Whatever they come up with, I take ideas and make them real.
I've worked for a number of companies, big companies. I've had an opportunity to travel the world extensively. I've lived overseas as a part of my career.
I've been very fortunate to have about 26 U.S. patents to my name. Some of my products are already commercialized.
Tie it right back to that one class where the professor asked me, are you interested in this? Would you pursue something in communications?
A few years ago, if someone has a leg cancer or traumatic leg injury, the likelihood that the leg will be amputated is very high. I did an investment where we can print a 3D absorbable 3D scaffold that you can use it to replace where the segment of the bone is missing. I have seen patients that have gone through those procedures that have had this scaffold implanted and now walking. To me, that blesses me.
One of my favorite all-time quotes is, by Dr. Martin Luther King, and it's, everybody has the potential for greatness, not fame, but greatness, because greatness comes from service. And I think that's my purpose. And so as long as I'm serving and I'm giving back, that is really important to me, and that kind of gives me my purpose.
I think one thing is very important, that you leave a lasting legacy. My wife and I have endowed 2 scholarships at the University of Toledo to help students. And long after we're gone, long after the Saevig name is forgotten, we will be helping students here at the University of Toledo.
To be an electrophysiologist is like totally cool. There's nothing that you can do with your time that is more fun than that. You get to go into a dark room and you get to do weird things that can actually fix people and prolong life or improve quality of life. You can see things and understand things that are very complex and yet make a direct and immediate impact on a person's life.
I would like to be remembered as someone who took really good care of patients and had great relationships with their patients, who made a difference in the lives of individuals. I also would like to be remembered as someone who also made some discoveries that outlast me, and I'd like to be remembered as a very strong family man with great faith.
I want to be remembered as a very kind, giving person who is always loving and supportive of others.
How do I want to be remembered? Someone who cared. Someone who took the time to really genuinely look at every person as an individual and gave them the time of day and the time they need to become successful.
I hope I'm remembered as somebody that's caring and giving, and somebody that has made a difference. It's really tough to do that in life, to really make a difference. And I hope that I can make a difference not only in the lives of my family and friends, but in my community.
There's all kinds of ways to help people in this world, and that's really what I enjoy doing.
I like helping people with their financial plans directly, and I still do some of that, but helping other agents be successful is really a great way for me to use my University of Toledo experience, for example, to be able to help them be successful.
In the business environment, I want to be remembered as a good partner in business with the people inside the company and outside. And I want to be remembered by the people. I have like 20-some people reporting to me right now. And I want those people, for example, and through the years, all the people who work with me, that I was a good partner in their activities, helped them do better at their job, and wasn't a hindrance to their abilities to move ahead.
I would like to be remembered fondly. I would like to be cheered with a toast, and then have everyone go on their way and be happy and celebrate our time together.
I want to be remembered as someone who paved the way for others.
I do what I do to make a difference.
I want to be remembered as someone who gave opportunity to others and made a difference for others.
Fraternity is a lifetime thing. Now, originally I started saying that when I was Rush Chairman, trying to recruit folks to be KDRs. But fraternity really is a lifetime thing. Not fraternity in terms of the social fraternity, but the connections and the bonds that we build as people.
I'd like to be remembered as someone who lived and loved well.
That I gave back more than I took, that I left this world a better place.
We are all in this world, not to pass through, but to leave a footprint. To me, the value system that I have, my faith, committed to my family, having an impactful role, leaving a footprint and giving back to my society. Those to me are valuable, or values that I live with every day.
I hope that people will remember me as somebody who cared and somebody who was willing to give.
If at the end of my time, and I'm over 70 now, if it's established that I have been able to give a little bit of help to the helpless and those who are in need, and I'm able to stand up for justice for everybody, and I'm strong enough to confront, invasion of rights of people, I think that I will die happily.
Wow. Dr. Postal, if you could please join me up on stage as we begin introducing our amazing awardees. As a recognized leader in the automotive industry, he's Chief Communications and Marketing Officer for Bentley Motors, Inc. His responsibilities include global media relations, communications, and brand management to position Bentley for growth in the Americas. His other professional experience includes work for General Motors, Audi, and Nissan. He has served as a board member for the V Foundation for Cancer Research and as a member of the Arthur Page Society, the world's leading professional association for senior public relations and corporate communications executives and educators. Please join me in congratulating the College of Arts and Letters 2020 Distinguished Alum, Mr. Jeff Coleman. Joining Mr. Coleman on stage is the Dean of the College of Arts and Letters, Dr. Charlene Gilbert. A native of the Detroit area, he earned his MBA from UToledo in 1981. After graduation, he began working as a film buyer, first with General Cinema and then with United Artists Cinemas. He moved to a position with DreamWorks Pictures where he would become the Western Division sales manager. He would then move to Paramount Pictures as the Senior Vice President of Worldwide Operations and currently serves as the Executive Vice President for General Sales and Manager for Domestic Theatrical Sales. He is very involved in his community, volunteering his time with the Will Rogers Motion Pictures Pioneers Foundation, Covenant House of California, and via Community Days through Paramount Pictures. Please join me in congratulating the John B. and Lillian E. Neff College of Business and Innovation 2020 Distinguished Alum, Mr. James Smith. Joining Mr. Smith on stage is the Dean of the John B. and Lillian E. Neff College of Business and Innovation, Dr. Ann Bayless. He joined UToledo in 2002, running Camp Adventure and reporting to the Dean of the Judith Herb College of Education. Since then, he's worked for the Provost Office and the Division of Student Affairs, where he currently serves as Associate Vice President, Dean of Students. In addition to his involvement with on-campus organizations, his board-level service includes Toledo Sister City International, the University Study Abroad Consortium, Ohio International Consortium, NASPA, Student Affairs Administrators in Higher Education, and other educational organizations. With a passion for service learning, he has organized and led numerous student trips abroad. I will add, he's probably one of the most beloved administrators on campus and always has a joke and a smile for everyone. Please join me in congratulating the Judith Herb College of Education 2020 Distinguished Alum, Dr. Sammy Spann. Joining Dr. Spann on stage is the Dean of the Judith Herb College of Education, Dr. Ray Whitty. She joined ProMedica Health Systems in 2014 and is now their Chief Strategic Planning and Real Estate Officer, in which capacity she has been instrumental in the organization's continued growth and influence in the community. Active in the Northwest Ohio community, she serves or has served as board chair of Regional Growth Partnership, as a board member of the Toledo-Lucas County Port Authority, the University of Toledo Foundation, and the Metro Parks Toledo Foundation. She was president of the Alumni Association Board in 2019 through 2020 and has been active in the Engineering Alumni Affiliate for many years. Please join me in congratulating the College of Engineering 2020 Distinguished Alum, Mrs. Robin Whitney. Joining Mrs. Whitney on stage is the Dean of the College of Engineering, Dr. Michael Toole. She earned her first UToledo degree as a non-traditional student in 2002. During her father's battle with ALS, she was one of his primary caregivers. He was her best friend and biggest cheerleader. Following his death, she found the newly established Master's in Social Work program at the University of Toledo. This gave her new purpose and meaning and led into her current career, first as Executive Director of the Great Lakes Collaborative for Autism, and now as Executive Director for ProMedica's Community Autism Program. In this role, she is responsible for creating a community plan to serve families affected by autism from diagnosis through adulthood, including early diagnosis, early intervention, education supports, transition programs, post-secondary and employment opportunities, independent living options, and inclusive and welcoming community, and overall family support and navigation. Her community involvement includes service on the Lucas County Mental Health and Recovery Services Board, the Wildwood Environmental Academy as board president, and the University of Toledo Health and Human Services Dean's Advocacy Board. Please join me in congratulating the College of Health and Human Services 2020 Distinguished Alum, Ms. Katina Harding. Joining Ms. Harding on stage is the Dean of the College of Health and Human Services, Dr. Mark Merrick. He's an angel investor, serial entrepreneur, business executive, and academic who has worked with startups, Fortune 500s, and a variety of healthcare and service organizations establishing brands, building operations and systems, and investing and raising capital in his 25-plus year career. Most recently, he's been working with startup organizations in the areas of investment, corporate development, product development, sales management, and growth. In addition, he's been serving on several nonprofit and corporate boards, including Indianapolis Public Schools Education Foundation, Ruth Lilly Health Education Center, and Tech Point Foundation for Youth. He's an active community volunteer and youth and school sports coach. Please join me in congratulating the Jessup Scott Honors College James K. Larson Distinguished Achievement Awardee, Mr. Doug Rammel. Joining Mr. Ramble on stage is the Dean of the Jessup Scott Honors College, Dr. Heidi Apple. A native of Nigeria, he earned his law degree at UToledo before returning to Africa to attend compulsory Nigerian law school. Since then, he's been in private law practice in Nigeria, serving as a national human rights and democratic leader. Nigeria was under military rule from 1966 to 1999. Working as a human rights advocate in a country under a military regime can be dangerous. From 1995 to 1996, he was detained 3 times, with one detention lasting almost a year. He wrote a book about his experience entitled Cell 26, Detention Memoir of a Political Detainee. He is the founder and chair of Human Rights Africa, a Nigerian human rights group. He is also pro-chancellor and chair of the governing council for Adekunle Adjacent University, Akumba Akoko, and group head at the Tunji Abayomi and Company law firm in Nigeria. Please join me in congratulating the College of Law 2020 Distinguished Alum, Mr. Olatunji Abayomi. Unfortunately, Mr. Abayomi was unable to attend this evening, though I believe he may be watching via live stream. Congratulations, sir. Accepting the award on his behalf is his former supervisor, ABLE, Mr. Michael Frank. Joining Mr. Frank on stage is the Dean of the College of Law, Mr. Ben Barrows. She is a professor of medicine, an associate chief in the Division of Cardiology, director of electrophysiology, and director of the CCEP training program at George Washington University. While at the Medical College of Ohio from 1976 to 1979, she took to heart an engraving that grounded her and epitomized why she was there. Enter to learn, go forth to serve. She's put this principle in practice throughout her career, leading an annual medical mission to Honduras and coordinating care for outpatients. She served as the chair of the Ethics Committee at George Washington University Hospital and is co-chair of the American Heart Association Strategically Focused Heart Failure Research Network Oversight Advisory Committee on Atrial Fibrillation. Please join me in congratulating the College of Medicine and Life Sciences 2020 Distinguished Alum, Dr. Cynthia Tracy. Unfortunately, Dr. Tracy was unable to attend this evening, though I believe she too may be watching the live stream. Dr. Tracy, congratulations. I would like to acknowledge the Dean of the College of Medicine and Life Sciences who is here with us tonight, Dr. Christopher Cooper. He is the Senior Director of New Ventures, Med Devices at Johnson & Johnson Innovation Center in Boston. He leverages his expertise in smart materials and biomaterials to support the medical device sector of Johnson & Johnson. From 2010 to 2013, he was a research fellow at Global Surgery Group of Johnson & Johnson, where he was responsible for external and front-end innovations and intellectual property for Ethicon Biosurgery. From 2006 to 2010, he was the Director of Applied Research and New Technology Assessment of Novel Biomaterials. Prior to that, he was the Chief Scientist of Closure Medical Corp., acquired by Johnson & Johnson in 2005. He has held various positions at Bayer, North Carolina State University, and the College of Charleston. He currently serves as an adjunct professor of biomedical engineering for Drexel University. During his career, he's led teams in the development of commercialized biomaterials-based products and new technology products licensed or acquired. He received his PhD in organic chemistry from the University of Toledo, where he was the Robert Whiteford Memorial Scholar for Outstanding Graduate Research and a Petroleum Research Fund Fellow. He received the Science Alumni Award from Avila University in 2014. He is also the recipient of 26 U.S. patents and is well published in many peer-reviewed journals. He has participated and led mission trips to rural North Carolina, Mexico, Kenya, Haiti, Trinidad, and Tobago. He currently serves as board trustee at Avila University, board member of MedShare, a not-for-profit medical mission organization, and the Viziola Foundation, a member of the executive committee and board member of Southeast Medical Device Association, Massachusetts Medical Device Development Center. He also supports Coulter Foundation programs at Georgia Tech, Emory University, Drexel University, University of Michigan, University of Pittsburgh, and the Science Center QED program, and finally serves in an advisory board role at Johns Hopkins Thalheimer Fund Investment. Please join me in congratulating the College of Natural Sciences and Mathematics 2020 Distinguished Alum, Dr. Ibrahim Badejo. Joining Dr. Badejo on stage is the Dean of the College of Natural Sciences and Mathematics, Dr. Mark Seeger. Three degrees from UToledo launched her career in healthcare in a variety of positions throughout Ohio and elsewhere. An early interest in the emerging field of telehealth led to cutting-edge research and implementation of innovative programs. At Wright State University's College of Nursing, she developed the Living Laboratory Smart House, inclusive of simulation, sensors, robots, and avatars. Later, she developed a remote presence project for the Dayton Veteran Affairs Medical Center. She's currently the Director of Evidence-Based Practice and Nursing Research and Researcher, High Reliability Organization Acting Coordinator, and Co-Director of Women's Musculoskeletal Service at the Veterans Affairs Medical Center in Dayton, Ohio. In a part-time role, she serves as the Director of Telehealth and Interprofessional Smart Department for the College of Nursing at the University of Cincinnati. Active in many professional organizations, her community service includes Junior League, Dayton Area Chamber of Commerce, Lejeune Ballet National Board of Directors, Council on Aging, just to name a few. Please join me in congratulating the College of Nursing 2020 Distinguished Alum, Dr. Debbie Samsel. Joining Dr. Samsel on stage is the Dean of the College of Nursing, Dr. Linda Lewandowski. He is currently a principal with Harrison Consulting Group. He has a 35-year professional history with experience in sales, marketing, team leadership, and national accounts. Prior to joining Harrison Consulting, he was with Amgen for 23 years. At Amgen, he served in various positions, most recently as Director of Oncology National Accounts. Prior to his last position at Amgen, he was Executive Sales Director for the Central Region, overseeing a 75-member sales team comprised of district managers, professional sales representatives, and clinical nurse specialists. He has also served in the district sales manager and professional sales representative. Before Amgen, he was an oncology sales specialist at Lederle Laboratories and the founding oncology pharmacist at the Cleveland Clinic Foundation Taussig Cancer Center. At the University of Toledo, he served as the founding president of the Pharmacy Student Council, still in existence today. His community service includes the Amgen Mentoring Program, serving as youth basketball and football coach and summer camp sponsor. Please join me in congratulating the College of Pharmacy and Pharmaceutical Sciences 2020 Distinguished Alum, Mr. Tom Kennedy. Joining Mr. Kennedy on stage is the Interim Dean of the College of Pharmacy and Pharmaceutical Sciences, Dr. Monica Holliday Goodman. After graduating from the University of Toledo, he worked as a probation officer with Lucas County for nearly 5 years until switching careers to private wealth management in the early 1990s. Today, his practice directly manages $160 million for its clients. The team also updates over 225 financial plans annually and gives advice to families on all of their wealth management issues in Northwest Ohio and throughout the U.S. He is consistently one of the highest ranked advisors in the Midwest for Ameriprise Financial and in the top 15% nationally. He's active with the University of Toledo's University College and as a volunteer with the Northwest Ohio Food Bank. Please join me in congratulating the University College 2020 Distinguished Alum, Mr. Michael Price. Joining Mr. Price on stage is the Dean of University College, Dr. Barb Kopp-Miller. Congratulations to all of our college awardees. Dr. Postal, I'll ask you to please remain up here with me and ask Mr. Dave Demetrica to please join us. Don't look shocked. You knew you were coming up here. We will now begin honoring our Alumni Association awardees. The Edward H. Schmidt Outstanding Young Alum Award is presented to a graduate who is 40 years of age or younger in recognition of outstanding achievement in his or her field of endeavor while providing service to the community. A 2014 graduate of the University of Toledo College of Engineering, he's an aircraft mechanic and weapons loader at the 180th Fighter Wing in Swanton, Ohio. From his basement, he invented the grip mat, a flexible, non-slip tool tray that gives mechanics a safe, close location to set their tools. Since the creation of GripMat, he's appeared on ABC's hit show Shark Tank, capturing 3 sharks to support his invention. The GripMat is, yes. If you ever watch the show, it's hard enough to get 1, let alone 3. The GripMat is used by organizations such as NASA, Google, Virgin Orbit, and NASCAR. Since the show, he was named to Forbes 30 Under 30, was on the cover of Time magazine for Best Invention of the Year, won the Gold Edison Award, and won the Innovation Award by the United States Air Force. Please join me in congratulating the 2020 Edward H. Schmidt Outstanding Young Alum, Mr. Tom Burden. Actually, you too may sit for just a few minutes. I'll call you back. Okay. All right. The Special Recognition Blue Tea and Gold Tea Award has only been presented 4 times in the 100-year history of the University of Toledo Alumni Association. The prestige of the award is such that all 4 recipients served as president of the university and was awarded based upon selfless service and outstanding professional achievements that moved the university while serving the community. The 2021 recipient joined the Alumni Association as Assistant Director of Alumni Relations and was promoted to Executive Director in 1993. Though he left the university in 1999, he wisely returned to campus in 2002 as Associate Vice President of Alumni Relations and remained in that capacity until his retirement in 2020, conveniently before the pandemic started. For 27 years of his professional career, he bled midnight blue and gold. Under his leadership, the Alumni Association expanded engagement programs, increased membership and donations, and became arguably one of the best alumni associations in the country. On his watch, and because of his dedication, the William and Carol Kester Alumni Pavilion went from concept to reality in less than a year and has hosted football pregame events to alumni and fans since 2012. I will also add that he is one of the biggest reasons I stand before you today, having helped me to see the light and the fun of working with alumni after having spent the first 18 years of my career helping to enroll new Rockets. His impact and legacy will be felt by Rocket alumni for generations to come.
Dan is the true rocket.
Dan bleeds midnight blue and gold.
He's not about recognition for his deeds. He's just about doing good deeds.
Hey Dan, look over your left shoulder. No, the other left.
Great guy, infectious personality. Those would be the 4 words I would use to describe Dan Saevig.
He's sincere, just an incredible individual of making sure that you're the one satisfied, and he takes on all the pain with that.
Dan throws himself into everything that he does. He's not just there.
Dan's a tremendous leader, and really when I think about the University of Toledo Alumni Association, I think of Dan.
Because once he got into a groove, man, he just worked.
He's one of the hardest workers I've ever seen.
I think he's a tremendous individual, and the university's been so blessed to have him lead the Alumni Association for the over 20 years that he did.
Congratulations, Dan. Thanks for all you've done here at the University of Toledo. I'm sure you've left it in great hands.
Dan is very compassionate, he's loving, he cares a lot about students, and his tenure here has been yielded with a lot of successes as far as getting students engaged, going to sports, supporting our coaches.
He was very detailed, meticulous, and he knew, and he had such a wide range of knowledge.
As the president of the Alumni Association in 2011 and 2012, I was credited with the idea for the Kester Alumni Pavilion, but an idea is just a passing thought if it's not implemented. And Dan is the one that made that project happen.
He worked tirelessly during that entire season, coming up with concepts, working with the university, working with everyone, and doing the fundraising himself. And we were able to go from Don's concept, I think beginning of summer one year, to using it football season the next year.
Let's not forget, he was a good father and a husband, because we always talked about our daughters, because we both had daughters.
He's not one to like the spotlight, so I'm sure he's not going to like this. But they wanted to celebrate him and all his efforts with the pavilion. And I remember him crying when they celebrated him at the grand opening. They surprised him, and he was just could barely speak.
The first time I saw the Alumni Pavilion, I was in awe. I was like, oh my gosh, he's been talking about a pavilion, and I'm just imagining like a little picnic table thing. But that was outstanding.
He's the best dad I could ever ask for. And I know he loves UT.
He would be the consummate hockey nut. Dan is all things hockey.
We have a huge hockey collection in the basement. It is not clear to me if he loves hockey or UT more.
He loves the walleye, and even if it's not Toledo walleye, as long as it's hockey, he's happy.
It's a pretty close call. He loves them both very much.
He's so enthusiastic and so behind the University of Toledo, and he was such a good ambassador.
Dan gets the job done, and Dan leaves you with a smile on your face. He really does.
My mom actually ended up sewing me a little Rockets cheerleader costume when I was 2. I still have it. So I would show up to that and wear that to the events. I ended up meeting a ton of people, amazing people who were alumni through those.
I'm not clear that she would have ever become a doctor if she would not have been exposed to UT in such an intimate way as she was able to be with Dan as her dad.
Dan is an achiever.
And his whole being for however long he was here was the university.
He is just the nice guy all around and puts his heart and energy into everything he does.
Enjoy your retirement, and if you have time, if you want to come to Nigeria, I will be very, 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 very happy to host you here. Thank you.
Dan, no protesting, no I'm not worthy comments, just sit back and listen to what we really think of you.
He was just such a hard worker and made such a difference for the university and the Alumni Association. I don't know that we can thank him enough for everything that he's done for us.
Him being just a leader, him being committed to the university, that I continue to stay involved and will continue to be involved, I'm sure, the rest of my life.
Dan was just there through thick and thin and really helped develop a number of leaders that were on his staff over the years. So thanks, Dan.
You do great work, Dan.
Dan Saevig, go Rockets.
If you didn't know, our 2021 Special Recognition Blue Tea, Gold Tea Award winner, Mr. Dan Saevig. Dan, can you please stay up here? I need your help with the next award, please. Dan seemed to think when he left I'd never call on him. I think we've lost count the number of times I've called on him for advice and questions, and I asked him to help me again here right now. The Blue Tea Award is presented to a University of Toledo Alumni Association member who has made outstanding contributions to the progress and development of the university, and I will add, the Alumni Association. After earning his marketing degree from the University of Toledo, he has immersed himself in the Toledo area community. He has been with Skyway Financial Group, Catholic Order of Foresters since 2000. His professional experience also includes serving as Director of Health and Safety with the Greater Toledo Area Chapter of the American Red Cross and Executive Director of the Northwest Ohio Minority Business Council. His community involvement is both broad and deep, with contributions to many Northwest Ohio organizations, including the Rotary Club of Toledo, the Latino Alliance of Northwest Ohio, Little Flower Catholic Church, and United Way of Greater Toledo. For his professional leadership and service, he has been awarded and recognized by Junior Achievement, Pi Kappa Phi, the Boy Scouts of America, and many, many others. At the University of Toledo, he has served on the Alumni Association Board of Trustees, Greek Alumni Affiliate Board, Latino Alumni Affiliate Board, the UT Foundation Development Committee, the President's Council on Diversity, just to name a few. As we think about the significant meaning of this award to the university and the Alumni Association, we could not think of a better person to receive this newly renamed award. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in congratulating the first ever recipient of what will now and forever be known as the Daniel J. Saevig Blue Tea Award to Mr. Mark Urrutia. The Gold Tea Award is presented to a graduate in recognition of outstanding achievement in his or her field of endeavor, while providing leadership and noteworthy service to the community. He has been the head of the vascular surgery service at the University of Michigan since 2004. He is a graduate of St. John's Jesuit High School and an honors graduate of the University of Toledo in 1975. He received his MD from the Medical College of Ohio in 1978. He completed his general surgery residency at the University of Michigan in 1984, completed a vascular surgery fellowship at the University of Michigan in 1986, and is presently the Stanley Professor of Vascular Surgery in the Department of Surgery at the University of Michigan and Director of the University of Michigan Cardiovascular Center. He is past president of the American Venous Forum, Michigan Vascular Society, and the Frederick A. Collar Surgical Society. His expertise includes a special emphasis on venous disease and coagulation issues. He is actively involved in clinical care and research. He's a Toledo Rocket through and through, and a major supporter of Rocket Athletics, the Eberly Center for Women, and the University of Toledo Medical Center. He also served as president of the Alumni Association Board in 2014 and 15. Please join me in congratulating a past Blue Tea Award recipient and now the 2020 Gold Tea awardee, Dr. Tom Wakefield. I have asked Dr. Wakefield to share a few remarks on behalf of all the awardees.
Thank you. Thank you, Billy. What a wonderful evening, and isn't it inspiring to hear all the stories we have heard tonight? I congratulate all the awardees, and I'm honored to say a few words on behalf of all the award winners, and especially the Blue Tea awardee, Mark, the Edward H. Schmidt Outstanding Alum Award winning Tom, and of course, Dan Saevig. I very much appreciate the Gold Tea Award, one of the most important awards that I've ever been given. It's also special that this is the 100th year anniversary of the University of Toledo Alumni Association. I love my alma mater. UT is so important in my career, and my most formative experiences happened here. As you heard, I grew up being a big Toledo football and basketball fan, and my dear father brought me to my first football game in 1963. We attended every home game of the 35-0 Rockets that we heard and celebrated tonight from 69 to 71, and to just about every game during the 23-2 season in basketball in 1966-67 with Steve Mix, John Ridley, and others. So I came upon my love of the University of Toledo honestly, and this love has continued up until this day. When it came time to decide where to go to college, and I could have gone to any Jesuit college or university based on St. John's, and I had conversations with the Toledo chapter of the University of Michigan Alumni Association, staying home and going to Toledo was a no-brainer. Let me point out two very important people when I was an undergraduate. Dr. James Larson, who died in July 2020, founder and head of the Honors Program, which is now the Honors College, opened up my life to art, music, and architecture, in addition to my pre-medical studies. Speaking of my pre-medical studies, Dr. James Stebbins, my undergraduate pre-medical advisor, was a wonderful, caring man. He started in the chemistry department in 1959, working into the 1990s. After I obtained my undergraduate degree, I then attended the Medical College of Ohio, now UTMC, and I was greatly influenced by Dr. Liberato J.A. DiDio, who was the first faculty of the new medical school hired in 1964, the school opening in 1967, and then he was the first graduate school dean and long-standing chair of anatomy. He worked for MCO for 24 years. I had the opportunity to work in his laboratory during high school at St. John's Jesuit, arranged by two incredible teachers, Father James Lotze and Father Charles Sweeney. And then I continued to work in his laboratory during my undergraduate years. I left for Ann Arbor after medical school, but remained very closely tied to Toledo. Over time, I've had wonderful contacts at the university, but let me mention three specifically. Dan Saevig, a great friend to my wife Mary and I. Dave Notke from Athletics and Development, who is our longtime friend and main gift officer. And our fantastic athletic director, Michael O'Brien, the Dean of MAC ADs, now in his 20th year. Mike has done a tremendous job for our athletic programs. I want to thank him publicly for bringing UT to the top of the MAC, both on the athletic fields and, importantly, in the classroom. Mary and I have also enjoyed our engagement with other parts of the university, especially the Catherine S. Eberly Center for Women, a center committed to advance our gender equality, the Minority Business Incubator, and of course, UTMC. Another reason UT is so special to me is that I met Mary here, and there are many connections with both of our families at the university. If it wasn't for UT, I would not have two wonderful sons, Father Andrew Wakefield and Dr. Victor Wakefield, a special daughter-in-law, Rachel Nichols Wakefield, and a beautiful new 11-week-old grandson, Ezra John. I want to recognize in the audience those from my family who were able to come here, and you can see all the connections with the university. My dear sister, Kathy Staley, and my brother-in-law, Chuck Staley. My niece, Doris Wood, and her husband, Nick Vincent, both UT alums. My brother-in-law, Paul Reese, a UT alum. My sister-in-law, Beth Roth, and brother-in-law, John Roth, who are both UT nursing alums. My cousin, Maria Stevens, who worked at UT and MCO for 13 years. Second cousin, Shelley Trombley, and my sister-in-law, Kathy Brown, who's actually here from Boulder tonight. Thank you for being here and sharing in this award with me. I also want to remember my dear mother, Doris Wakefield, who is here in spirit, my mother-in-law, Marjorie Reese, who could not be here tonight, also a former UT nursing instructor, and other members of my family, extended family, who are watching by live stream. I also want to thank my vascular surgery family at the University of Michigan Medical Center and the Franco Cardiovascular Center in Ann Arbor. I had the wonderful fortune to lead vascular surgery for 16 years, and I have been at Michigan since I started my training in 1978, now some 43 years ago. Not many can say that they have been in one place for this long a period of time, and I continue to enjoy working there as much today as I did on day one. So thank you to my friends, colleagues, staff, trainees, students, and importantly, thousands of patients that I've had the opportunity to take care of over the years. Finally, I wish to recognize our new University of Toledo president, Dr. Greg Postal. Thank you for leading us through the pandemic to the bright future ahead. And Billy Pierce, who has taken over the running of the UT Athletic Alumni Association in splendid fashion. And I want to thank you, Billy, and his incredible staff for putting on such a great evening tonight, for all the work and for the videos. Please give a hand. Thank you again from the bottom of my heart. I love this university. We have a great university, and it is key to the development and growth of the greater Toledo area and the entire region of northwestern Ohio and southeastern Michigan. As an example, a 2017 study by two UT economists reported that UT's impact to the economics of the region was $3.3 billion, or equivalent to 10% of the region's gross metropolitan area product. Pretty amazing. The examples of what this university means to its graduates that you have heard tonight remind us all that our university is a precious gem and a true engine that propels its alumni to great achievements for the betterment of the human condition. So I will finish by stating that we should all support UT, as this great university has supported each and every one of us and fuels us to continue to boldly climb into the future. I know that I would not be where I am today without UT. From my first football game with my dad 59 years ago in the Glass Bowl, to meeting Mary 49 years ago outside the student union, to serving as your UT alumni president 8 years ago and now on the UT Foundation board, to tonight and all that has happened in between. I have been so fortunate and blessed to be a Rocket. So thank you again for always. Go Rockets, and let's beat Northern Illinois tomorrow. Thanks.
Please join me in congratulating all of our Alumni Association awardees, all of our awardees this evening. As we prepare to close, there are a few people that I need and must thank. First, Mr. Tom Zapecki, Director of Media Services in our Department of Communication, his team and his students for their amazing work with the production of the videos, the coordination of the visuals tonight, and for making sure those that could not join us can watch via live stream. I'm grateful for all of your work, and probably more importantly, for your patience with all of my crazy questions and ideas. Thank you. To the crew from Great Lakes Sound for making sure tonight's audio worked flawlessly. Thank you. To Dabney Bradley and the Chartwell's catering team for a wonderful meal and great service tonight. Thank you all so much. To Brenda Young, Ruby Wise, Mark Brooks, Diego, and all the staff of the Lancelot Thompson Student Union for working with us to make sure this night was a success. Thank you. To Joe Belfi and Carly Perry from our Advancement Services team. They spearheaded the effort to design the program you have in front of you, the poster boards, several other graphical elements that you see here tonight. Thank you guys so much. To my alumni engagement team, thank you all so much for your effort, your dedication, and your passion for the work that we do day in and day out to make sure our alumni feel connected to the university and each other. Tonight does not happen without weeks of planning by this amazing team. Thank you. In their absence tonight, I want to publicly thank my wife, Rebecca, and my kids for their unwavering support of my career and the understanding they have for my love for my alma mater. I could not be here with you without their support at home with me. And she's probably going to get me to this. To my mother, who's watching live stream and probably with my father, thank you both as well. I will tell you she knows more about UT some days than I do and knows what happens before, so she gives me updates, but she is a true rocket. So Mom and Dad, thank you both as well. And finally, thank all of you for your support of the University of Toledo and the University of Toledo Alumni Association. I hope to see all of you tomorrow at the Schmidt Homecoming Parade, which begins at 8 a.m. I got you out of here before 9 o'clock tonight, so. And then over in the Kester Alumni Pavilion for our pregame party, which begins 3 hours before kickoff when our Rockets take on the Northern Illinois Huskies. Ladies and gentlemen, may I ask each of you to rise and turn your attention to the screens. In what is a Homecoming Gala tradition, to the words of our alma mater, Fair Toledo, please join me in a final tribute to tonight's distinguished awardees.
In tower shadows, voices now raising to alma mater, golden and blue. Fair Toledo, praise to thee, portal of learning ever be. Hallowed halls we shall revere, vow to keep
Thank you all for being here with us. Have a safe trip home, and good night.